Welcome to Red Reviews, guys. Shane here with you guys. Episode number 1, and we are going to talk about and review. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the blockbuster hit that is Deadpool, smashing box office records. Record holder this time last year for President's Day weekend, for Valentine's Day, 50 Shades of Grey. Deadpool exceeding all expectations from critics. The most optimistic critic giving it $60 to $80 million opening weekend. $135 million is what we got opening weekend for this guy. He delivered. The marketing for this movie absolutely delivered. You cannot talk about this movie without talk about the marketing for this movie. It was utterly fantastic, from billboards to Super Bowl ads to this, that, and the other. And it literally is this, that, and the other. There's nothing that they didn't touch on. Go ahead, look at all the marketing. It will go down in history as one of the best marketings for a movie ever. I hope it's not lightning in a bottle. They already said they're going to go ahead with Deadpool 2, so let's see if they can go ahead and get another one, capture the same momentum that they did with this one. I mean, they got a great springboard with this awesome movie. It is very uncommon as well to be in the month of February. I know 50 Shades of Grey, well, I don't judge people on what they watch and what they like, but typically the January, February, early months for a year are classified as the dumping ground for movies. That's where they go to die. Those are the ones that the studio doesn't have any faith in. But in the last couple years, the summer season, the big blockbusters the movies were anticipated for, they keep breaking out of that summer mold. They keep going further into the fall, into December with Star Wars last year. And now they're pushing it in the opposite direction, where February, Deadpool, we're already kicking off an amazing year of comic book movies. I will admit, when this trailer dropped at Comic-Con a few years ago, it was Batman vs. Superman, it was Deadpool, and there was Suicide Squad. There were some other trailers in there, but those were the heavy hitters. And Deadpool was third. I would have ranked that third. I got almost emotional, I'm not afraid to admit it, when Batman and Superman came on screen together. Seeing the Suicide Squad, a DC fanboy and a Marvel fanboy. I don't want to say that I'm one or the other more. I love them both, but it was so great to see those characters on screen in that way. I felt like with Harley Quinn and the Joker, and then the way Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman, they were just killing it. Everybody looked like they needed to be. Anticipation, that's the point of a trailer, to pique your anticipation, and those two trailers did it. The Deadpool one, I was a Deadpool fan. I don't read any of the comics of Deadpool. I don't know much about the history of Deadpool. The Merc with the Mouth, of course, we got that. And he delivers with that in this movie. Make no mistake about it. We'll get to the language here in a little bit. But that would I would have ranked that third unanticipated of those trailers. I chuckled a few times during it, but I was like, we'll see. We'll see. I never want any comic book movie to fail. And I don't understand Marvel, DC fanboys when it has to be, black or white. You have to be on one side or the other. Why can't they all win? If they all win, we all win. And we all want to win, don't we? We all want good movies. We don't want Batman versus Superman to suck for the sake that we don't like them as much as Captain America with his Civil War movie coming out just a few weeks after Batman vs. Superman. So we want them all to win, from the X-Men to the Deadpool to Gambit to everybody in between who's getting these solo movies. When they're successful, they make more. And when they're successful, they make more good ones. They keep raising the bar for themselves. Marvel is amazing at that. They keep raising the bar with themselves, with Avengers, then Captain America, Winter Soldier, and now we have Deadpool, which I know he's a Marvel character, but he's owned by Fox, and that is a good thing. No matter what you think, with all the naysayers out there that, Fox should just give all the rights to the X-Men and Deadpool and Fantastic Four back to Marvel. Marvel is doing more than enough right now. They're pushing 3 movies a year is what they're hoping to move to, with just 2 years, with 2 movies a year ever before this. So if all that rights went back, pretend that all those rights went back to Marvel at Disney, where are they going to put the X-Men? They've already got their cinematic universe planned out all the way past 2020. They know where they're going, and the X-Men aren't a part of it. The Fantastic Four aren't a part of it, even though I'm sorry to say that movie did not deliver, which is sad because X-Men Days of Future Past by Fox was awesome. Deadpool, amazing. I'll get to my score at the end of this. And then you have right there that turd in the middle, Fantastic Four. And I think if we learn anything from this, Deadpool getting to break off and do its own thing without having the studio interfere, and not Zack Snyder, he's doing Batman vs Superman, but the one who does X-Men, the guy who directs those movies, Bryan Singer, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the studio interfering because they trust him with what he did with the first two X-Men movies. But then you had Josh Trank there with Fantastic Four in the middle, and they just bullied him, is what it seems, depending on reports you want to believe from that movie. But that movie was just chopped up by the studio. They took it in the direction they wanted to. There was friction with the director. But look, if you have even a first-time director like the guy who directed Deadpool, Miller, first-time director, knocked it out of the park, and it was not an easy task. Not only was he going with the first R-rated movie, but if you've seen the movie, and I'm going to talk about spoilers like you have, we're talking about flashbacks, fast-forwarding within flashbacks, fourth wall breaking, directly talking to the audience. He's in on the joke, you're in on the joke, and it makes the joke that much greater. There's no other character that talks directly to the audience that has all the same knowledge that you do about the abysmal X-Men Origins Wolverine. And that in the movie, that joke, it lands. And we know it. It lands several times about getting his mouth sewn shut and the little action figure calling him back to the Baraka version of Deadpool. It's just awful. Let's get back to the movie. The movie is awesome. It's funny. It's got something for everyone. It's a little bit of a revenge tale, and they're not lying when they said, "Oh, Valentine's Day, go out and watch this love movie." He's trying to get his love back. He's scarred. He looks a lot like this guy right here, and they make a joke about that, how he looks like Freddy Krueger. But he wants to win the girl back, and he's got to take out the villain who's kidnapped his girl. So it's a classic revenge story, and a classic origin story in a world where we've seen origin stories time and time again. This one does it in such a unique way with the fast-forwarding through time and the flashbacks and the talking to the audience. Colossus is in there, and I was curious to see how that they would bring the X-Men into his world. Colossus, he's not a mainstream one. He's not Rogue. He's not Wolverine. He's not Magneto. It's not anything like that, but it works. It unbelievably works. The way everything comes together in this movie. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, she was in one or two issues of the comics. She works. I hope that she goes on and she's in some of the later X-Men movies or X-Force or whatever they're planning on bringing together. I hope that she comes in, and I liked her character. But the only complaint, maybe one or two, I wanted to see more. You can always see more. You almost want to just peek back from behind the scenes, and you want to be there on set when that there was some riffing going on, that there was some ad-libbing, and you want to know what it is. The director said that we're not going to get a director's cut of the movie. At first we heard that we might, but it looks like we're not going to. Kind of sad. I would have liked to see an unrated, but I don't know how much more unrated we could get versus what we got, because they pushed that R balls to the wall. They took full advantage of the fact that they had an R rating, and they ran with it. One of my other complaints, and a lot of people have this complaint, and it's a minor nitpicking complaint, is we just wanted more from the villains. And you can say that about even the Marvel movies, that the villains are always underused. Who is Ajax? Who is this business that he's working for in creating these mutants? Who is he selling them off to? We would have liked a little bit more. They're doing with what they had, with the budget that they had. This is not Avengers level budget, which is why, once again, $135 million, so impressive on what you can do with a smaller budget. They think these blockbusters have to have monumental budgets, just lots of money thrown at it to be good. That's not true at all. They make a joke at the budget in this movie, saying, there's never any more X-Men than just the two that we see in this huge mansion. Well, it's almost like the studio couldn't afford any other actors. So, they make fun of it. And so it's nice to have someone in on the joke as much as you are, because you're like, this is what I would say in that situation, and that's what he says, and even a little bit worse. So to rank this movie, it's so hard to give a movie a 10 out of 10 anymore. But I don't want to go decimals, but I feel like a 9 out of 10 is a disservice, but it's February, and we have so much more coming with Batman, Superman, with Captain America Civil War. And, I'm even a little excited to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got Jason Bourne returning. We've got, what else? We got Apocalypse. We got Doctor Strange. I'm anxious to see how the Ghostbusters movie turns out. I'm rooting for it. I don't ever want a bad film. But I got to give this movie, we're going to go 9.2 out of 10. If I revisit at the end of the year, I would guess it's going to fall in my top 5, top 10, definitely, top 5, maybe. We got to see how DC shapes up. The ball is definitely in their court. So we'll see how that, if I revisit at the end of the year and it's still one of the most memorable things, I'm going to bump it up to 10 out of 10. The only reservation I have is because it's so early and the bar looks like it's been set so high by this movie. If the other movies can clear it, then I got to give room for a 10 out of 10 to someone. If I give this one 10 out of 10 and the other one's just that much more better, if Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice is just incredible, if Spider-Man and Black Panther is everything we want at a Civil War, and we see a major story of two friends that just fall apart in this story and it grips you emotionally, then I got to give that 10 out of 10. So I got to leave some room for all the other competition. The one downfall about coming out so early, but coming out so early, the bar has been set. You go Deadpool, rocking the shirt. I'm a fan now for life. I can't wait for the second one. Deadpool 2, I hope we see Cable. I hope he gets his own franchise. It'll be interesting to see him come into the X-Men PG-13 world. I think it'd be funny if they just bleeped him out and how he can make a reference at that, and then that maybe he addresses the fourth wall break, he addresses us, and the other X-Men have no idea who he's talking to. I hope they do it well. If they do it like this movie, it'll go well, because I was uncertain on how it would work for him talking to us, but it works. And there's no reason that it couldn't work in other movies. Now that this has been established, this is canon, this is in the X-Men universe, the Fox-verse it's set up. The Fantastic Four, I do not believe that is actually part of the Fox universe, as we'll call it, the Fox-verse, with a big old X, because X-Men is their staple property. But Deadpool, we'll go 9.2 out of 10. We'll revisit it at the end of the year, and I have a feeling it'll move up there in the ranks. But like I said, DC, Marvel, ball's in your court now. And if you like what you see here, go ahead, click the like button, click subscribe. I'm going to be doing reviews of movies like this a lot more often. Hopefully every weekend I can try and recap some of the 4 or 5 top main events that happened that weekend. I got one lining up this weekend. Talk about Daniel Craig. May or may not come back as James Bond. Who can replace him? Who can fill those shoes? Even if he doesn't come back, it's still a conversation to have, because he won't be James Bond forever. So sooner or later, we are going to have to find another James Bond. Also, we'd like to talk about what's coming up. I mentioned all the comic book movies time and time again in this video, but there is a huge slate of movies coming out all year long, from now all the way till we get Rogue One in December. It is a jam-packed year. I'm already starting to save for all the tickets that I have to buy, as well as all the Blu-rays I'm going to have to buy to fit on this shelf behind me. Also, I'd like to talk about Ghostbusters coming up this weekend. We got a little teaser for the teaser trailer. I don't know how I feel about this new trend of releasing a teaser trailer for announcing the trailer. So it's an announcement for an announcement, but it's also a discussion on the direction they're taking. It'd be a fun little conversation to have on how we feel about the new take on such a beloved franchise. So all that coming up this weekend. Deadpool, go out and see it. I've seen it twice already. Get your shirt. Support the guy. He deserves all of our love, because I tell you, he loves you. I'm Shane. This is for Red Reviews. I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys later.